So I wanted to start by saying good evening, and it's really fantastic to be here and to be opening up this selection of what I'm imagining is going to be fantastic work, social change work. I'm speaking to you from my home in Southeast London, and I'm really thrilled to introduce to you my recent project, which was called Count Yourself Lucky. And I'm really excited also that three of the performers in this piece, Fatiha, Leanne, and Binta, are also with us this evening. And there may be others who've joined who I've not seen, but a special hello to them. I want to take you back to June 2023, when the journey begins. There's an organisation called Creating Ground, and they support migrant women through art and activism. They're based in Lewisham and Greenwich. And they were invited by the Southeast London local maternity and neonatal system, complicated term, but that's who they were. They were invited to create a piece of work to explore the barriers that migrant and underrepresented women in Southeast London were facing in ante and postnatal care. And I had worked with Creating Ground before. I've been on this showcase actually sharing my previous project with them. And so they asked me to lead on this creative exploration. We began with conversations with a selection of women, of mothers, and their toddlers, and their mums, and cups of tea, and a lot of chaos. But we started to have some conversations about this issue. And here are some of my flip charts from those early workshops. And the barriers which emerged from these conversations that these women had faced were, among some, anxiety about being away from home and family when giving birth, a lack of understanding of how to navigate the healthcare system in the UK, the fear of revealing precarious immigration status, and an unconscious bias leading to inadequate pain relief for some women, and all of the problems that come when there is a lack of interpreters in an appointment. All of that said, some experiences that the women shared were positive. So it felt like navigating this system was a bit of a game of chance, and it's based on that that I decided to call this piece of work Count Yourself Lucky. And I wanted to place this piece of theatre on a board game, a game of snakes and ladders, where you had to kind of roll the dice, and you might get lucky. So we then went a few months later into a rehearsal process, as you can see here. And I was at this point co-creating with friend and colleague Irene Kaptani, who's also a socially engaged theatre practitioner. We used Augusto Boal's technique of image theatre, of games, to establish not only the scenes based on lived experience, but also a chorus who would respond through movement and sound to the action. And you can just see a couple of our rehearsals here in Southeast London. And then my next challenge was to design the actual game. How would I get three contestants across the board of snakes and ladders? So I had to kind of map this out on a table at home using post-it notes, because the idea was that when a woman playing a mother rolled a dice, if she landed at the base of a ladder, she'd go up the ladder, and then a positive scene would pop up. And similarly, if she landed on a snake, she'd roll down the snake, and then we would see a scene based on lived experience of something which had gone wrong. So bit of post-it note working out there. And finally, thanks to this brilliant colleague, Lucy, who is part of the group, she designed this board that you see here in the Tramshed Theatre in Greenwich. It's made of foam, those kind of play mats that children play on, and masking tape. So we were able to package it up and transport it. The performance happened in April last year at the Tramshed. And then again, the funders asked us to perform the piece in front of healthcare professionals. And you can see here three of the performers responding to questions from the audience on a panel. We heard from one particular person that afternoon, which I think helps to explain why this piece is proving effective. A healthcare visitor said to us afterwards that she, after watching the performance, was going directly to an appointment with a pregnant woman who is a migrant woman. And she was going to completely change the way that she spoke to and listened to that woman on account of what she had seen and heard in this performance. And other professionals said that they were deeply moved, not only to see their own work in a new light, but to see behind what they are presented with when they were meeting these women. And so we were delighted when they then said to Creating Ground that they would fund the organisation to create a filmed version of our performance. And then in December of last year, that's what we did. We filmed the work across 2 days. Okay, I was going to show you an extract of it, but I think more importantly, I want to now hand over to Binta. Binta is one of the performers, and I have asked her just to share why she feels that the piece of work we made together is important for our times. And I just said she had one sentence, so hopefully, Binta, over to you.
Good evening, everybody. I think that the Count Yourself Lucky project matters in 2025 because the issues we dealt with in the performance are still being faced by migrant women today. And we hope and we think that bringing that performance to healthcare professionals will help eradicate them.
Thanks, Binta. The film is not yet available for public viewing, but it will be very, very soon. And you'll be able to get that if you find my contacts on social media, and we can share Creating Grounds as well. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you again to all the performers, including those who are here this evening.